transmitting clearly, that would mean language. Like if we're not speaking the same language, then we can't communicate. We should be straightforward. Don't beat around the bush too much. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Clarity. There's a lot of times where we get really upset because someone didn't do something we were expecting them to do, but we never actually asked them to do it. We just assumed that they would know that since they did it once, 5 years ago. We've been together for
24 years. He should know by now, right?
Yeah, he should know by now. So I'm going to give you some that might sound difficult in a minute, but I promise you it will save you a lot of frustration if you try it.
And it should be easy.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not.
No, it isn't. Well, especially when we're nervous and things. If we don't feel like we can trust each other, that creates a problem. Or we're afraid just to come out and say it. What we want or what we feel, I suppose. If you feel like you're going to say something to someone and you're afraid they don't care what you want, you're not as likely to say it. What we're talking about tonight is you doing your part. It doesn't necessarily mean the other people in your life are going to do theirs. And you making decisions about, am I willing to let someone get this close to me if they're not willing to do these parts of it? Because we're supposed to really be partners under the roof. So rule number 1 is we talked about clarity. If you're trying to express something, say it. If you feel something, especially if it's a good thing, like you feel for somebody who's important to you, say it. What I have in front of me is, if you want your kids or partner or someone to know I love you, say it. And that's not a one and done. One time I heard a guy say to his wife, I was a teenager, and I heard him say, I never say I love you. They've been married 30 years. I never say I love you because I said it once. And if I ever change my mind, you'll know it. And he thought, man, he thought that was romantic. I thought, man, I don't know. I kind of need that like a couple times a week. So there's days you just need to know somebody does. And so, I don't think that's going to do it once in 30 years. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Or if you want someone to know, hey, she's hot or he's hot, say it, let them know. Let them know.
Not the other person walking by the person.
No, not the other person. The person you're with. yeah. No, don't do that.
Appropriate, respectful commitment and all that.
Yeah. So, exactly. So a couple thoughts I had on it is, like if you want to say you really like something, that like if somebody did a presentation or you like a shirt or something like that, what would you say? If like you really thought that jacket with the little the shiny parts on it was cool, what would you say? Yeah. Oh, well, let's hear it. Just one example.
Rachel, I love your jacket, but the side of your jacket is saying something.
That's awesome. That is really good. Good. Yeah, really good. Yeah. So those are things we can do like all the time. My daughter is really both uncomfortable and comfortable with me complimenting her. And it's a hard thing to deal with. Like, she acts like she doesn't want it, but then every once in a while she'll beam when you do it, and you'll know, okay, I need to keep doing this. Even though she like push me away sometimes, So it's a strange thing, but I'm doing my part. I'm saying it. If I'm feeling something positive about her, I'm saying it. Or if you appreciate something, what's a way to? Has anybody done anything nice for you in the past week? Okay, what has someone done?
Tomorrow's my birthday.
All right, happy birthday.
I started getting birthday gifts. This jacket is actually one of my birthday gifts.
Nice.
And my sister brought me something as well this past week. So
That's awesome. And what'd you say to her?
I said thank you. And one of the things that she brought me was, when I was a little girl, I used to like strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
That was my character. So she bought me strawberry pound cake Bath and Body Works.
Aww.
So,
That's sweet.
That's awesome. And you said thank you. And that's it. And that was meaningful. Good. Or I appreciate this. Or, wow, it really meant a lot to me when you did that. So that's a really vulnerable way to say it.
And sometimes it can be little things. Like last night I was washing the dishes after Rob was out. And so it's just Hadley and I, our daughter. We'd eaten dinner together, and I'm cleaning up the kitchen, and she just stood in the kitchen and talked with me. And I just told her, well, thank you for keeping me company while I was washing the dishes. That meant a lot to me that you spent that time with me, because usually she'll go off in her room and do whatever she does.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever 14-year-olds do when they're in their room.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And just expressing simple things like that.
In our workplace, one of the things that sometimes a work culture can have a hard time with is saying thank you for the little things that people just do. And that's something that where I can, I try to influence that. Because, I mean, you remember to say thanks for something huge, but just the stuff that people do all the time, over and over, how they're always here and they're always helping out on that, they don't have to. And so it really means a lot.
And even if it is their job to do, you can still
Even if it
appreciate it.
is,
That's a job well done. And we talk
exactly.
about, relationships when we're doing marriage and relationship workshops. You got underwear in your drawer this morning. It wasn't empty. Say thanks. Thanks for washing the clothes so I'd have clean underwear to put on this morning. Sometimes it's those little things that are overlooked, and it means a lot when we express that appreciation.
Now, I don't guess she's going to say it, but that is actually a really real example in our life. That sometimes I will forget to just say thank you for putting the shirts in the drawer. Instead, what I'll do is, hey, don't I have any shirts for...
Where's my clean underwear?
I'm just being real, and it really upsets her because, gosh,
she didn't thank me for the 20 times they were in there.
You didn't thank me for the 20 times I put the shirts in there. So that's something to think about. So if you have some good thought about each other, say it. Now,
but that is true. So often that we complain about what's not right and forget to compliment and appreciate all the good things.
Respectfully, I would say a couple concepts there are, what is respect to you? Like, how can someone talk to you in a way that you feel is respectful? What would you say? What kind of things would that involve? Yeah, tone of voice. Yeah. And what would be a good respectful tone of voice? Inside voice. Okay. Yeah. That's what I wrote. Is not overly aggressive. Yeah. And I also wrote, I don't know why I wrote this, but not passively aggressive either. I suppose that is being clear. Not trying to make you fish it out of me and trying to manipulate you. Just say it. Yeah. Say what you're trying to say.
I think we've all experienced the passive aggressive and the aggressive both.
Yeah. All right. How about asking for something you want and doing it respectfully? A phrase that we like to use that is good is to be vulnerable. It would really mean a lot to me if you would or if we could. That'd be really good. Now, as a parent, you may not do that, but you may say, "I need you to," as a parent. But in other kind of like equal relationships, that's a really good way to be really vulnerable with someone. You're just saying it. It would be meaningful to me if we could or you could do that.
And it's a really way to diffuse things if you're talking about something that you think may not be received as well, because it's putting this on you and not necessarily on them. Like, you don't ever do such and such and such, or why don't you ever, whatever.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
You ever had a situation though where you do get mad at someone because they're not doing something, but you didn't really ask them specifically to do that? So here's an example. Here, I'm going to just read it. This is not my example. They don't read the expectation. Good. Stay with that. Here's the example. Because it's wrong. They shouldn't they? I mean, if they know you, they should just do it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to paint this in a way that I think is going to help us. And this is the part where I was going to say, this could be hard to get used to doing this, but believe me, it will help. So you get home and somebody made a delicious dinner for you. No, you did it. You make someone a delicious dinner. That's a very important distinction. And so you put a lot of time and thought into it. And so they're just bound to help you with the dishes afterwards or whatever, but they don't do the dishes. So you get upset with them. And they notice and ask you what's wrong, but what do you say? Nothing. Exactly. You didn't have to see it. You didn't see it. They should just know that you would expect, surely, if you made the dinner, for them to clean up after. But you never asked them. And we never set up a rule or whatever, a house expectation, desire that somebody, that's how we'll do it.
I cook, you should wash the dishes. Not really. You cook, you should wash the dishes because you cook.
Okay.
Exactly. That could be somebody else's expectation.
That could be. So that's my point. That's my point. You got to work this stuff out, and you got to ask, because we're stupid. Like we're really ignorant about those things. We cannot put two and two together. Like, it makes sense once you say it that you might be hoping I would do that, but I just thanks
He's
for
not
the
going to
dinner.
intuit it.
Meanwhile, I'm on to the next thing. I don't think about it. Here's someone who does ask for stuff. All right. This is a situation where our 2-year-old, it's time to go to bed. And listen to what she does. So it's time to send her to bed, and we're helping her with her pajamas. And she'll say, I want the purple ones. And we'll say, okay, the purple ones. You'll say, can you read a story? And we'll say, okay, we'll read a story. Great. And so we start reading a story, and she points out which one she wants, and we do. And we don't think anything about this, right? And then we go ahead and put her down, and then she says, hey, can you sing a song? Sing a song. It's like, okay, we'll sing a song.
She's procrastinating going to bed.
Well, probably. But you kind of get the deal is she's telling it. She's not afraid. She's setting up a chance for us to be successful. That's my point. Is it will help if we'll set them up with the opportunity to be successful by saying what we're hoping will happen. Does that make sense?
That's true.
Okay. But we tend not to do that. Another example is here's somebody gets home from a long day and they're have met up with their partner, and you feel like you could use a good back scratch. This is a strange example. This is not mine, but I think it makes sense. So I really could use a back scratch. So what you do is, here's the expectation thing. So you're going to snuggle up to them in a way that their hands are just right there. You're just going to snuggle up and kind of roll onto them in a way that you feel like sort of signals, hey, scratch my back. But they don't get the hint. They just sitting there, watching TV or whatever. And so now you're just kind of frustrated. And so then you sort of like kind of reposition everything and all that, and they just aren't getting it. So you feel like, what's going on? So then you scratch their back. Like, this is going to work. You scratch their back. Other real life examples would be like dishes and sex. I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to know that, or flowers or whatever. Yeah.
No, I was just going to reiterate on what you were saying, just like if we're hurting or something, we're like, oh, my back.
Yeah, and you think...
And he just knows to give you a massage, so just ask him for a massage.
Just ask.
So bad.
Yeah.
Ask.
Yeah. That's it.
Get upset.
That's it. Just ask.
I'm not trying to be sexist, but most men do not get clues.
I agree.
Oh, no.
Context clues.
I agree.
He knows he doesn't get it.
I agree.
I got to be. He told me you just got to
I agree.
say it.
I agree.
Definitely
Yeah.
not saying my back is hurting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna get.
Right, yeah.
You're like,
exactly.
go take you an Advil.
My voice exactly, so we already know who you're talking to.
Yeah. Oh, sure,
We can
sure.
work together, right?
Exactly. So it can be a challenge, though, because you can think, well, listen, they should just know this stuff after a while.
Right.
So it can be hard. And you think, if I have to ask, then you didn't mean it. So one of the things that we talk to couples about is that's the wrong expectation. If you ask and they do it, that counts.
Yes.
That's okay. That's good. You don't just leave them to figure it out. But sometimes people struggle with this. Well, they should just know. And so I think about putting this in a work context. And this is a real situation. Let's say that you're a communication person. Like, you do stuff, you send letters out and stuff. And you have a project manager who does training stuff. So he builds training packages for employees. And anyway, a year ago, he came up one time and asked you, would you send out a survey 2 weeks after he sent out a training package? And he built it for you and everything. And he said, because I want to know how it's going. So could you do that for me a year ago? You'd never done it before. And you agreed, okay, I'll do that. I'll help you out. And you did it. Well, a year later, this PM is now doing some other training thing. And he's sending it on out and everything. And then 2 weeks later, he comes and is mad at you. Because he says, hey, because you didn't send the survey. And you're like, what happened? Why didn't you send the survey? What would you say to him?
It was not communicated effectively to me that every time you sent
Correct.
a program out that I'm supposed to send a survey. That has literally happened.
Correct. But at home,
I had to tell my principal, look here, I'm not a mind reader here. You gotta just tell me, hey, if that's what you want me to do, tell me that's what you want me to do. Because I mean, seriously, literally, that's happening.
yes, sure. And it's frustrating, isn't it?
It's very frustrating because then it makes you feel like, okay, I'm not doing my job. These people
Right.
are-
You're like, look at your emails. Did I miss where he asked me to do
Right.
business?
Right.
Yes.
But at home, so he could have set you up for success by asking. But at home, we sometimes just think they just have a crystal ball, or they just should remember that. Surely they should remember that my favorite restaurant is because we went there once, or whatever it is. Just ask. That's it.